It's Charter Local Edition. My name is Brad Pomerance in San Luis Obispo County today, and we are joined by Ed Eby. He is a director with the Nipomo Community Services District, which is in South San Luis Obispo County. A lot of your work focuses on water, and all I can say is congratulations.
Thank you.
Because as you know, Nipomo CSD was given a state conservation target of 28%. The most recent report indicates that you have saved 37.1%. How did your residents do that?
Well, if you look around town, you see a lot of brown lawns.
Okay.
And people are more conscientious now than they have been in the past. I think an even more important number is the state goal was water consumption.
Right.
We get all of our water, and we have been getting all of our water from wells, groundwater.
Groundwater.
And our reduction in groundwater in the month of July of this year has been 57%.
Let's talk about groundwater, because we know groundwater continues to be a source of contention, of acrimony. For whatever reason those may be, we also know the state has passed a regulatory scheme. We were the only state west of the Mississippi that did not have a regulatory scheme. Nipomo's adjudicated, so
right.
it's regulated. How has the use of groundwater and the continued use of groundwater during this drought impacted your basin, though?
Well, as you would expect with about a 4-year drought,
Right.
the levels in our wells have been dropping. We have several wells that are below sea level. We've got a figure we call a key well index, where we measure specific wells and look at the level of the wells. If it drops to a certain level, which we call a severe well level condition, then we declare certain emergencies. And
Have you?
we passed that this April, and we stopped accepting applications for new water connections. So if you have a house you want to build and you want a water connection, you're just going to have to wait until the water levels come back up.
And let's talk about other risks as it relates to what you described. Nipomo benefits from being so close to the beautiful coast. We are on the Central Coast today. And when you drop below sea level like you described, what can that cause when seawater, groundwater, and land groundwater starts to mix?
Well, what happens if your well levels get, freshwater well levels get below zero, the ocean stays at its own level, which is zero. So that gives the opportunity for seawater to intrude and go into the aquifer, contaminate it with salt water, which is almost irreversible.
Devastating. It would be devastating.
It ruins your wells, that's right.
Do we have a sense as to whether we are close to seawater intrusion in Nipomo or elsewhere on the Central Coast?
Well, the best indication is what is the level of the wells closest to the ocean.
And?
They're very low, but they're not below sea level.
Okay.
They're about 4 or 5 feet above sea level. They get much lower than that, then you have a problem.
What are you doing with those wells?
Those are sentry wells. We just are measurement wells.
Okay.
The actual
I see.
production wells are more like a mile inland.
I see.
But that water can migrate a mile or more inland. In Salinas, up in Monterey County, the seawater intrusion there is in about 15 miles. It's just to the city limits of the city of Salinas.
What are they doing?
They are not using groundwater for their agriculture anymore. They can't because it's too salty. They have a giant reclamation program that takes the water, the wastewater from all of the cities around, and that's what they use for irrigating the fields.
What do they do though about this intrusion from the sea? It's over?
It's over. They just...
Can you desalinate groundwater?
At a very high cost, yes.
I would think.
But then if you desalinate it, the stuff, when you took the salt out of it, you got to do something with that, like put it back into the ocean.
Right.
The environmentalists don't like you to do that
Right.
because they think it makes the ocean too salty.
Although desal does seem to be gaining some steam, at least as part of the solution.
Well, we're going to have to bite the budget and do more of it because regardless of what you think the environmental consequences are, it's the best way to ensure your water supply.
I'm sure you know in Santa Barbara they're putting a desal plant back online. But farther north from Santa Barbara is Santa Maria. And I know that Nipomo and Santa Maria have entered into really a groundbreaking, if I can use that cliche, alliance. Tell us about what's happening with Santa Maria.
We are under contract with the city of Santa Maria to import 3,000 acre-feet of water per year. To do that, we built a very expensive pipeline from Santa Maria up to Nipomo, and we are now hooked to the Santa Maria water system. So our water systems are joined. We're currently getting 500,000 gallons of water a day from Santa Maria.
Which is part of the reason why you don't have to pump as much groundwater.
Right, because of that ability to pump that groundwater, we have reduced our groundwater pumping in July over 50%.
The timing couldn't be more perfect, especially since this plan has been at least discussed for over 20 years.
That's right.
So it came online just when you needed it.
Well, we don't know whether it's going to rain this winter or not,
Yeah,
but
well.
if it doesn't, it would be absolute disaster to our area.
And so tell me more about how the Santa Maria project is benefiting Nipomo. We know you have less groundwater pumping. What else is it doing for your community?
Well, there's a couple of things. One is the water will be a higher quality than our water.
And let's talk about that, because to a lot of fanfare, we know that their water is treated with, is it chloramine?
Chloramines.
As opposed to chlorine.
Yes, there are two ways you can disinfect water. One is chloramines and one is chlorine. Chloramines are the best way to disinfect water that comes from rivers and lakes.
And that's where their water...
And a good percentage of their water comes from the state, through the canals and across the rivers.
Right.
And it is treated in Santa Maria with chloramines.
Now, how is that impacting the interplay between water that you already have in Nipomo? Do you have to change all of your disinfection to chloramines?
On September 1st, we did the switchover.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And what we did was stop adding chlorine to our water, and at night, when there was less people using it, we flushed our hydrants to get the water out that had the chlorine in it.
Okay.
And we're now introducing chloramines into our water.
And what does that mean for residents? It seems as if it's a real net plus.
It absolutely should be unnoticeable to the residents.
Okay.
If anything, chloramine-treated water doesn't smell where people think that chlorine-treated water does. So if anything, it should be less smell. Taste-wise, there should be no difference. We did a blind taste test of Santa Maria water, Nipomo water, and well water, and people couldn't tell the difference. If they could tell anything, they liked the well water better.
Interesting.
Untreated well water.
How are your ag constituents doing?
Our ag?
Agriculture. Don't you have some ag in Nipomo, no?
We don't have many customers. Most of the ag people
is it outside your boundaries?
Use well water. Yes, and actually our water is really too expensive for agriculture.
Okay.
Our water costs, I don't know, anywhere from $500 to $800 an acre foot to provide. And ag water has to be under $300 an acre foot for it to be economical. So they pump their well water. They don't treat their water. They just take it out of the ground and put it on the crops.
And this is still in Nipomo's jurisdiction, presumably?
Some of it is. Most of the ag is outside of the NCSD boundaries.
Right. So overall, though, it seems as if Nipomo's coming together and trying to figure out how to get through this crisis. We'll see if there will be this gigantic El Nino that folks are talking about.
That'd be nice.
And will it come up farther enough north to impact the Central Coast? We know if it comes, it could be in Southern California, but as San Luis Obispo County technically, at least as it goes to weather, Southern California. Yeah. His name is Ed Eby. He is a director with the Nipomo Community Services District. My name is Brad Pomerance. It's Charter Local Edition. Excellent show.